Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. Today's kind of a different episode. We're not particularly doing a haunted house review, but we're going to be doing a top 10 countdown of Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. This year they had 10 haunted houses. This is also the first year we've got to attend it. And I think it was definitely a very good year for our first time there. It's definitely...
It was the 80s.
Yeah, it was the 80s. There's been a lot of things about it this year. Stranger Things being the house. They really made a good decision with being that, like, their main house because it's so popular right now. But we're just going to kind of go off the top 10, the ones we're going to start with, our least favorite to our most favorite. I will say this, none of them were actually, like, just bad. So that was good. So none of these, none of these were, like, actually bad, so even, like, our number 10 wasn't, like, horrible. But there's definitely ones we liked a lot more than other ones. So, that being said, we'll just go ahead and get started with the countdown. Number 10, our least favorite haunted house, which is the one we anticipated going in, was the Blumhouse Haunt.
This one was the first Purge and Happy Death Day. And it basically... the Purge was, you're getting attacked by people in masks and stuff because they can kill people. And then Happy Death Day was, if you've seen the movie, it was the same dorm room with the girl getting killed different ways with the baby face.
Yeah, so it was just another way for them to remake Groundhog Day, but with the horror twist, because we don't have enough of those. I'll be honest, I haven't seen either of these movies. I'm not a huge fan of the Purge franchise. So that was a big reason why this haunt didn't really do much for me. I really wish I would have seen the Insidious house, something like that, because that's a Blumhouse property that I am interested in. That would have been cool. It's just, it didn't really do that much for us. There were some good scares, and that didn't really get me very much, but it just wasn't. I would say it wasn't that interesting out of all the houses as well. Yeah. It was at least interesting. The sets they had were still well made. Everything looked, I imagine, to par with the movies and stuff. The dorm rooms looked like dorm rooms. And there was a little bit more than that. I remember there was I assume that happened in the movie where she got attacked in a parking garage. And that was in there. Yeah. And there's a couple other things. But for the most part, it was dorm room to dorm room. And the one thing that kind of upset me too is it seemed like the scares were in the same place in every room. He would come out of the closet.
Yes.
So I'm well... Which was definitely the least inventive thing of all the houses, but there's really not much more to say about this one. It was just kind of eh.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it's all up from here. So.
So number 9 on our list is one of their original haunts, and this one was called Seeds of Extinction.
Yeah, I like this one quite a bit, and the whole theme of it was pretty much killer plants.
Yeah.
It's kind of I think the story was it I think it was a meteor came or something, made the plants living or something like that. I think that's what it was.
And they basically took over a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And they were just all over the place. The concept was pretty cool.
It was cool and the hiding places are pretty cool for them as well. Mm-hmm. Since it's plants, everything in the place is plants, you never really know where things are going to come out because the people are dressed like the scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. The one real standout thing this house had was there is a floor, and you don't have to go on this if you're handicapped or can't, but there's a floor and it's on a tilt.
Oh yeah.
And they actually scare you on that tilt, which was kind of. I think there's 3 different actors, and I'm wow,
that's dangerous. I do remember that. I think that's why it's least on my least favorite because that tilt was. Kind of scary.
Yeah, I liked it, but I really can see people falling down that thing and stuff. But I kind of think it takes some balls from. But I thought it was cool. I liked the haunt. It was pretty neat. So number 8 on our list is the Dead Exposure Haunted House.
This was actually like a prequel to one of their haunts that they did before. This is an original concept again. Basically, it was zombies in France.
Yeah.
Because it was just this person, like, they had like a backstory to it and stuff. Like, if you went to their Facebook page, Universal's Facebook page, they had like postcards and stuff that were written from this person's point of view of, you know, oh, there's all these like sicknesses and they want us to get vaccinated and all this stuff. And that's basically the premise of the haunted house was there's this big virus going around and basically turns people into zombies.
Yeah. The haunted house really was just basically like walking through catacombs, though. Like, the majority of it was catacombs, which I guess is like, what was that, the catacombs of France, maybe? Is that what was going on? Okay, so that makes more sense. I didn't actually know that, and I was kind of confused, because, like, you enter through, kind of looks like a government, well, like, you have to go through, like, a decontamination center, which is kind of cool, and it kind of starts off like a military compound, then you're just, like, in catacombs. That was kind of confusing to me, but I thought it was pretty cool. They scared me a lot in this one. The detail is there, but, like, it was basically lots of catacombs, though.
Yeah, it was really dark.
Yeah, it was
really dark
really
in there.
Dark, and again, as it was detailed, I'd say it was one of the least detailed ones, though.
Yes.
Which is why it's a little bit lower on the list. But there were a lot of good scares. I mean, this one probably scared me. As far as like getting scared goes, it's probably in the top 4 for like just straight up getting scares. But like overall, being like one of our favorite haunts, it's a little bit lower on the list just because of that. But still, it was really solid. I thought, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so number 7 on our list is Halloween 4, which was Return of Michael Myers. And again, this is one of their movie-themed ones. And this one got me quite a few times. And, I mean, a lot of Michael Myers. Very cool.
Yeah, there were a ton of them. And they're very accurate with... we're recreating like scenes from the movie and which is pretty cool. Which for things like this one, there's not like, because if you're doing Halloween, you can't just make up your own monsters and stuff. So you kind of like, I love, and they do this with a lot of the haunts. It was kind of cool because it'd be like, oh god, what's his name? The doctor that's always after Michael Myers.
Oh, Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis, like, you know, he would pop out with a gun, like be shooting Michael Myers, and that would be like the scare, you know, like him shooting the gun. So like they're able to scare you with a way that's not actually someone that's supposed to be scary, but you know, like I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and they did really well. I do have to say, Universal picks their actors really well because it looked like Dr. Loomis.
It did, yeah. The casting was really good. Then I mean the makeup as well, you know, and the costuming is just fantastic as well. Yeah, lots of Michael Myers, so you get lots of them, and they were real good with, like she said, did you point out how close they got the knife to your face?
They got really close with, like, the scares and stuff. And, of course, Michael Myers has always got, like, a big knife and stuff. And it was really close to my head. Like this close. Like, he'd just pop out and he would be right there. And it was just like, oh, my God, he's going to literally stab me.
And the house was pretty lengthy as well. Like, I remember because I kept thinking, like, it was over. I'm like, oh, there's more. Because I know, like, one of the final scenes was really cool, and I can't remember exactly what it was in. What was it? It was like the outside. Was it a mental facility? I don't remember what.
It started off in a mental facility, and then I think towards the end they were at houses, like trick-or-treating and stuff like that. And then I think it went back to the mental hospital.
Right. Which is really cool how, like, a lot of the houses they do that is, like, you progress through the house as you would progress through the story of the movie. Which is, it's just really neat how they do storytelling just through a haunted house. I think that's really neat. But that brings us to number 6, which is also original IP from Universal, which is Carnival Graveyard. This is a take on... I feel like it's kind of a twist on your traditional like haunted carnival type of haunt because it's like rusty old like amusement park rides and like scenes and stuff like that. And this one, I thought this one was really cool. Like
it was really neat. Just the scares they had in there were really cool, and it was basically like you were in a junkyard, but it had all this like carny rides and carny things like those weird faces that you blow up balloons with and stuff, and so things like that. It
was kind of a way, I feel like, to do the whole people's fear of clown things, but more unique and more original, because it didn't ever feel like, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before.
Right.
Like, it was really neat. And there's just so much like going on in every one of these haunted houses. Like,
one of the scares that I do remember is we were inside like a almost like a chain link fence, and they had these other fences that came crashing down on the side of it, and it was just this loud, obnoxious bang, and it was just like bang, 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 and it was really distracting and like disorientating, and just it was a good scare.
Yeah, something with all these houses is they were actually pretty loud, which I like, because with the capacity that they have of people going through these houses, they need to be able to scare you.
Yes.
And there's no way they can make you wait and like only send small groups in. You're essentially one assembly line going through the haunted house, but they have so many different spots scaring you. There's always like a noise, complementing the scare. So it's so much easier for them to get you. And I wish more places that are real busy would take note from these people.
Yes.
From the people that do Universal, because like I know that Universal essentially has endless buckets of money, but like the stuff they do to scare you is things that other places could incorporate without spending like
Yes.
a bazillion dollars. I was just really impressed with how well that was done throughout them all.
Yes. So that brings us to our number 5 haunt. This was a return of one of their most popular kind of themes. Another somewhat original idea. It was called Scary Tales. And this one was based on the Wicked Witch of the West basically getting her revenge. Mm-hmm. And I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan, so this was kind of like, oh my god, this is so cool. Super elaborate.
Super elaborate.
Not very scary, though.
Yeah, it was the one I think both of us got scared the least. And I've also read people, I've seen people talking about that this was like the least scary one, but man, the scenes are so cool. Mm. I mean, like the opening facade is a castle with a witch that's like essentially flying around it, and that's really neat. And I mean, there's still some good scares in there, but like some of these houses were a lot scarier than I expected them to be, actually. Yes. But yeah,
it smelled like gingerbread in there.
Which is funny because I'm like, oh, it smells so good, and like someone pointed out, it's like, well, yeah, that's because they use that to lure the children in or whatever. Yes. I'm like, oh yeah, that does make sense. And there are some pretty messed up, grotesque scenes in this too. I mean, essentially, it's just taking your childhood fairy tales and just making them gruesome and dark,
like they used to be.
Right? Yeah, like Grimm fairy tales. Yeah, before Disney put their hands all over. But yeah, if you haven't read like Grimm's fairy tales, the original fairy tales of like some of your favorite childhood memory, you read those and you're like, oh, that's how this actually went. So, but yeah, it was. There's so many cool scenes in this place.
Like the beginning was basically Wizard of Oz, and you were in the witch's castle, but she had captured everyone, and like there was one bit where Dorothy was like chained inside a cell. And all she kept saying was, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Yeah. And then there was like a disemboweled scarecrow on the wall. And the Tin Man actually was evil. And he like attacked her with an axe.
Yeah. Remember that, yeah.
And then it went into different fairy tales. Like, of course, the gingerbread was Hansel and Gretel. And they were basically just eating people. And then there was Little Mermaid, which she was basically the opposite of pretty. Basically, it was like fish and then human. And a few other different fairy tales and stuff. I mean, the scenes were just super elaborate, very well done, made you feel like you were in the atmosphere. Just not all that scary.
Right, but you said it was still really good, but yeah, not all that scary. All right, so number 4 on our list, and I really like this one, was Slaughter Sinema. Essentially what it was a whole bunch of Universal making their own like B movies and just kind of making a haunted house around that, but a lot of these B movies kind of like called back on movies that kind of already exist that they don't actually have the rights to, which was cool. The place smelled like popcorn.
Yes.
Actually, when you're waiting outside, they had a giant like projection screen, like it was a drive-in theater, and they were projecting some kind of like, I forget if it was a movie or what. Well, we couldn't actually see it very well because we hit this one early on, so it's still daylight out. You can't see the projection until it gets dark.
We did see it later when we were walking back to another haunt, and it was actually the trailers for the B movies that they made
Right.
inside the haunted house. So I thought that was pretty cool that they actually made trailers for these movies that do not exist. It was pretty cool.
That's essentially what it is. You're kind of like walking through the scenes of the different like movies, you know, that because it's this was like based off their character, the director. Is that what it was or not?
No, but from what I hear from other sources is that one of the movies was done by the director. There's another movie that was done by Jack, if you're familiar with who he is. And then there's a few other characters that have done movies as well. You have to kind of find them. They're little Easter eggs. They're on the posters and stuff like that. But they are there. But it's not like official.
This one got me quite a few times. It was really cool. And they had because like there'd be like movie posters, kind of like advertising like that's like the movie you're about to like walk into.
Yeah. And they had like the announcer, you know, your typical like
yeah,
they came for blood, you know, that kind of guy, B-movie talking guy. Pretty much in every single one, just introducing you to the movie, and then you were just kind of dropped into the movie. So
right, and you walk through a couple scenes of that, and then you know, kind of rinse and repeat. It was a really neat concept, and I really liked it. It was very original, and I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. Especially like if you're a fan of like B horror movies, you'll absolutely love this one. This might even be like your favorite because of that. But it was really cool. It was really cool.
All right, so now we're into our top 3, which honestly, I think they all were pretty good.
Right.
Our number 3 haunt is Trick or Treat.
Right.
Based on the movie. This one was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
And I love this movie too. It was cool, and like they recreated so many of the scenes and stuff as well. I will say the only thing it was a little bit shorter. It wasn't super long haunted house, but they packed quite a bit into the shorter like length of the house though. I mean, you know, you had Sam quite a bit, and then the cool thing with this is too, since it was kind of an anthology, they were able, because like I said, like with like Halloween, they kind of had to get creative because Michael Myers is like the only real bad guy, kind of like, you know, kind of like with a lot of like movies like that. But since it's an anthology, you know, there's multiple things. There's Sam, there was the vampire people, there was
the school bus kids.
Yeah, so they had like a whole bunch of different things too, not just the one. And I know the one thing, like when we entered, well, because the entrance is cool. It's like you're walking up to a house and it looks like you're, you know, outside, ready for like a trick or treat.
Yeah, they actually have an announcement when you walk in about rules of what you should do when you're trick or treating, like never go to a stranger's house and things like that. And I thought that was kind of funny because it actually sounded like it was on a record, like it was like really old fashioned and stuff like that.
And there's that woman, she had like a Sam puppet and she had it like looking like it was attacking herself, but she was controlling it, you know.
Yeah, that was really cool. I saw that a couple times. She was getting attacked by Sam, and it was really cool. And yeah, Sam was everywhere, and they actually had shorter people play Sam. Because he's essentially the size of a child.
Well, what it could have been, we don't know. They had
it could have been a kid.
It could have been a kid as well.
Because they did have kids in these haunted houses as characters.
Which was neat.
Yes.
And they were good, too, but we'll get more into that soon. And it's another thing of like so many of these houses was just coming back to me thinking about like just how they distract you as well. There's just so much, it's like sensory overload in all of these houses. But like, for example, the vampire lady, you know, the one like sultry looking vampire kind of doing her dance, and I'm looking at it, and then of course right out of the fog beside me, you know, across like the little street area, they made one comes flying at me, and she got me really good. But they do that a lot. They have because of the high capacity, they'll like have a scare there, and you're like, oh, I missed and as soon as you're about to think miss the scare, then you get scared from here, and you're like, never mind, there it is.
I mean, they kind of have to do that because they are funneling people in like nonstop. So it's nerve-wracking because you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get scared. It's just
everywhere.
And they're just everywhere.
So many actors. That's definitely, can't complain about this place not having enough actors. I never once thought, I'm like, oh, there wasn't enough, except for Scary Tales. That was the only one where I think it needed more actors.
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit lacking in the scare department. Maybe that was why. Maybe there weren't as many actors that night.
Maybe, yeah.
But still, but yeah, this was the one that said the shovel guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he scared the crap out of me. I mean, a guy just whipped around the corner with a shovel in my face. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna die.
But yeah, this haunt was great. And like I said, if you're a fan of the movie, you're gonna love this haunted house. You're gonna love this haunted house.
It makes me want to go watch the movie again, just because like some of the stuff I kind of forgot, and then I see it in this house, and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about that, you know? And it's like, oh, I have to watch the movie again. But yeah, it was really, really well done.
All right, and that brings us to our number 2 haunted house. And the first and second one are kind of ties, but we did end up liking one a little bit more. So number 2 is Stranger Things. This haunted house is ridiculously, like, just elaborate and accurate to the TV show. Like, if you are a fan of Stranger, like, the lines for this thing, let me tell you what, like, I can't even say go to this one first, because, like, we tried going to it first, but everyone does. Yes. So, like, you know, we'll have another video. We're going to talk about things. We'll say some, like, tips and stuff and that. This is just more of a top 10. But, God, it was so busy. But we managed to get in and only wait 20 minutes. Because it said 45 minutes, and we only waited about 20. But, wow. I mean, like, everything, like Hawkins' Lab, the forest where Will gets lost, the Upside Down, and the kid actors are so great.
Oh, my God. I swear, Winona Ryder was in this haunted house.
She looked so much like her.
She looked just like her. The kids that played 11 looked just like Millie Bobby. It was insane.
Oh, yeah. Like the one that played Will, because I don't actually think you saw him because he came out right behind you. He looked, I mean, like, I actually, like, briefly forgot for a second that this wasn't just that actor. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, wait, no, just another actor playing this actor. But I'm like, wow. And they did the same thing I was talking about Halloween here, because, I mean, Demogorgon, that's the only real bad guy for Stranger Thing, that and the other little Demogorgon things, you know. But, you know, so they have to kind of, like, have things like a kid popping out to, like, scream or something like that, you know, or, like, so they kind of use that to scare you.
Oh, yeah, they use so many distractions, and they definitely got me so many times with all the little distractions.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's right at the end of the house, it got me real good. There's, like, you're walking towards to go to the exit, well, Eleven's, like, right past the exit, and she, like, reaches out and a strobe light goes on her. Well, then as soon as that happens, right in front of you comes a Demogorgon, right in front of your face. It scared the crap out of me.
Yep.
God, just the detail on this haunt was just insane. I mean, every major scene from, like, Stranger Things, like, you know, like the Christmas lights hanging, you know, of course that's there. It's one of the first things you see. I mean, the Upside Down was sweet. I mean, just the forest. I mean, it looked and smelled like you were walking through a forest.
Yes. Like, they had people with flashlights, like they were looking for Will, and just, it was just so much stuff.
This one felt more so like walking through an active, like, show or movie set than it did a haunted house. Even more so than the other ones did. Like, it was so elaborate. It kind of just felt like this whole thing was just going on around you, and you were just kind of like a ghost witnessing it all. And it was just so neat, with random Demogorgons scaring the shit out of you.
Yes.
But,
oh my God.
And there were so many Demogorgons, and they were really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, the house was just great. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, and you have to go through this. It's amazing.
It is amazing. So that brings us to our number 1 haunt, and that would be Poltergeist.
Yeah. This thing was, for one, absolutely terrifying.
Oh my God.
I haven't got scared this much in a haunted house for quite a while, actually. Like, at least, like, jump scare wise.
We enjoyed this thing so much. We went through it twice, and we never got the same scares.
Yeah. We wanted to go through all of them more than once, but the lines and, like, there's, if you want to do that, you're definitely going to need a fast pass, but just the opening facade for the place is amazing. You essentially enter in through, like, the dug-up swimming pool, and like the house that's raining. It's storming, and it's actually raining. Yeah, it's inside.
Actual rain, which felt nice because it was hot out.
You know,
so
like
it was like,
oh
yeah.
That's great. And like they have the guy like saying you didn't move you moved the. Yeah,
you moved the tombstones, but didn't move the bodies.
The bodies, yeah.
Yeah.
Either quote.
And oh my God, it just, I don't even, I'm a loss for words. It's just so good. The big creepy monster that's on the staircase that's kind of like, bleh, like this and stuff. Like one of the first CGI kind of things.
That thing.
Yeah, that thing.
That thing.
Everywhere. There were people on stilts with it and just everywhere, scaring the crap out of you. And then they had the clown doll. If you don't like clowns, don't go with this one, because it's like everywhere.
Oh yeah, they had like a whole section like themed doing where it's kind of like you're walking through his arms and stuff. It was really creepy. Yeah. God, there are so many scares, and the haunt was pretty dark as well. It was still detailed, but it was very dark.
Yes.
And they had the whole thing kind of like you're walking through like the spirit world as well. They kind of had that, and like it's kind of like breaking through how it does in the movie. Very accurate to the movie and stuff. One of the coolest things, and it's actually really simple. It was like you kind of walk through this. It's not spiderweb. It's almost like you're kind of walking through this tunnel of like. Kind of like sheets with like blood or something on it. I don't know. It was like a tunnel of it.
It's basically like, you know how they pull, I'm not spoiling this, hopefully. They pull Carol Ann through the afterlife or wherever she's at, and it's like this pink goopy stuff. Well, they basically made a tunnel of that, but it was like sheets that were like kind of like wet and like, or at least looked wet, and you walked through it, and they had people in there that just scared the crap out of you.
Because you couldn't tell where they could enter. There was no clear doorway, and all of a sudden they would just fly in through the thing.
So many times. So many times.
And you couldn't really see where they were coming from, and it was just really spooky. But like I said, in the first half of the haunted house was real dark, so I mean, like, nothing would be, then all of a sudden a light would turn on, there's just people in front of your face. And they double up on you a lot, too, throughout a lot of these haunted houses. Like, you'll get scared here, and then you'll look this way, and another scare comes right there, and yeah, the haunted house was frightening. It was really cool. I don't know. It was good. It was good. I think it definitely deserves our number one spot.
Yes, and they went to my heart because I love her. I think her voice is just fantastic. They had little Zelda Rubinstein at the end going, "This house is clean," which just I don't know. She makes the movie for me. I don't know why.
It's also one of my like big childhood memory for me is watching Poltergeist. Like, I've always loved that movie since I first saw it. So it was really cool to like be able to go through the house and stuff like that. It was really cool. But that's our top 10 list. Let us know in the comments if you agree, disagree. What's your number one? What's your least favorite? I imagine a lot of people's number one to be Stranger Things, and it's real close for us. We said Poltergeist is just a little bit. We just like it a little bit more.
Inched it up.
Not much more, because they're both freaking amazing. All the houses were really good. Like, all the houses were good. But yeah, those two were just like almost like next level as far as haunted houses go.
Yeah.
And if you have a chance to go there this year, I would highly recommend it.
Yes.
We're also going to do a video where we talk a little bit more just about the park in general and scare zones, and there'll be a link to that as well at the end of this video and probably in the description below. But that does it for this video. Make sure you like us on Facebook, and if you want, you can also become a patron so we can continue to make more content more frequently, off-season as well. But thank you guys very much for watching.
Bye.